Welcome back to Stade Boreal, where the theme for the match today is the next generation of roses, showcasing the rising stars of the sport. Some of them in the crowd today for this match against the Calgary Wild. NSL Soccer is presented by BMO, the official bank of the Northern Super League. Thanks for joining us. I'm Daniela Ponticelli, alongside former Canadian Youth International Jess Lisi. And we take a look now at Montreal's Stephanie Hill with 5 goals on the season, Jess, and delivering so much more than that for this team.
Yeah, I think that right there, that stat, the fact that she is a center back, she's got 5 goals, says a lot about the quality that Stephanie Hill has. But her physicality and that big presence in the back line has caused teams a lot of problems, and it's definitely helped out this Montreal side. The last time these two teams met, Coach Bedford actually mentioned to us that Stephanie Hill's physicality made it very difficult for them to find their front players. So she's going to play a key role today in shutting down a Calgary offense.
Game winners in both of her last 2 matches. Meanwhile, Calgary, as I've mentioned, looking to break a losing skid, and they're going to need help today from Calgary's Sarita Thurton.
Yeah, I think the flank players today are going to play a big role for Calgary. The last time these teams met, they didn't capitalize as much as they should have on their opportunities. They did create quite a bit despite, the 5-0 score line, but Sarita Thurton is a player that loves to go 1v1. Her delivery into the box is always great, and we know that Montreal has players like Whitaker and Sauvé that love to get forward, so exploiting those flanks when they can on transitional moments is going to be massive for them today.
Well, and a road goal for her would be the first done away, that's for sure, for Thurton, but this is a Calgary squad that hasn't scored since August 16th. Well, at least a member of their team. They have had a goal, but it was an opponent's own goal given to them, so they need to get going here. Meanwhile, that underdog mentality, Jess, could serve them really well.
Yeah, I think sometimes going into the game as the underdog helps you mentally, it helps drive you, and Coach Bedford mentioned to us, no one expects them to win, and that's something that's helping drive them into this game. You want to go out there, you want to leave it all on the line, you want to play for your badge, and you want to end this season off strong, potentially getting those 3 points today.
Nothing to lose, everything to gain. When you're already counted out, they want to be counted right back in. Montreal wearing their blue and red kit today with the first touch. Tanya Boychuk, their captain, their leader in so many other ways as well. Montreal also a side that would love to pick up offensively. They've been so good defensively. The team has only conceded 16 goals, and they haven't conceded a goal, by the way, in their last 3 matches. So they are a tough squad to get one by as it is. Sonia O'Neill having words early. We heard from her prior to the match, and she talked about, Jess, what you just said, playing for the badge today.
Yeah, and this Calgary side has mentioned so many times that they're going to bring that fight. They're going to bring that physicality. That was something that really helped them out when they played Ottawa. They brought that fight from the first minute to the final minute. So that's something that is going to be key against Montreal. They're a team that always plays with their heart on their sleeve. They love to come at you. They're a very confident side, and you don't want them to grow confidence as the game continues on. So they're going to have to set the tone really early, Calgary, and make sure that they are physical from minute 1.
Set the tone, and we have an early set piece as well being delivered by the home side into the box. It's up, it's headed out. Not a good clear just yet. Still in play for Montreal. Great effort there. Swept in is Talia White.
The other thing Calgary has to be aware of, Daniela, and it hurt them last time these two teams played, is they're defending in and around that 18-yard box. It was too easy, it was too lackadaisical, there was too much time and space for Montreal to make decisions, to be able to strike on frame, and Montreal is a team you don't want to give that time to. So that is something you're going to have to be aware of.
And it was a recent meeting as well, back on September 13th, 5-0 victory. I was in Calgary for Montreal. Our first look now at Montreal's head coach, Robert Rassatoyu, who, of course, is always honest and talked about how his team wants to be both confident and humble, which is a tough mix. But here they are. They know they're headed to the postseason, but yes, they still want first right now. A chance for Calgary getting to work their first corner. Allie Green trying to trace it down. Instead, it's Montreal coming away with it, moving the ball up quick. Boychuk. O'Neill is on her, but Boychuk stays with it. He's looking for the pass there to Haley Whitaker.
That was well defended by Sonia. She recovered. She was beat by Boychuk, but she didn't give up, continued to get back and ultimately broke that play up. But you're seeing the threat already, Daniela, and what Montreal has and how they will find those moments to play a slip ball through to a Boychuk, how brave she is to go at people and go 1v1. But then that recognition and finding the precise final pass. That one didn't come off, but she did recognize that the cutback was the best option.
And the Roses threaten again. Kang Cheram taking the physical play there. Lydia Bedford, of course, knowing what's at stake here, talked about it off the top. They must win just to keep this slim playoff journey alive. Of course, their fate is totally tied to the Vancouver Rise. It's all based on how many possible points are still available. So essentially, the Wild need to win out, and they need the Rise to just stay steady at those 32 total points.
And she mentioned to us, despite that, they've been in good spirits. The ladies are ready, and they've been working hard. They've been all smiles off the field. They know the reality, and that's why they're ready to finish out the season strong, no matter which way it ends for them.
So far, early possession for the Roses. In net for the Wild is Stephanie Bukovic, who has been in for all of their matches, save for 2. Has earned the club all their points in the standings. Sauvé with the touch. Over to Hill. They'll trade Thurton with some pressure. Paquin, who's been getting better and better and showing some of her peak performance lately. From distance, Stordy with a header just to help it out of the end line.
This is something that Montreal has found success in as well. Capadona with a great ball in, but Stordy doing well to read this and gets to it right before Paquin is able to get on that in a dangerous zone.
Montreal and Calgary each have 7 goals scored outside the box this season. Montreal's so dangerous inside it, though, with 20 of their 27 goals. Across, an opportunity, that one skied.
Again, Boychuk showing the threat that she is. She's going to get on the end of everything. She's going to put her body on the line. She isn't able to connect with that as well as she would have liked, a little bit delayed. But you do not want to leave her open in that 18-yard box.
Boychuk with 6 goals on the season, tied with Latifa Abdou for Montreal, although Latifa Abdou, of course, no longer with the club, but just goes to show the piece that they're missing there. It's all about who will step up. Out at the touch. Of course, this is the 5th and final meeting of the regular season between these two clubs, and the record has gone Montreal's way, winning 3 straight. It was just the very first meeting that went Calgary's way. That was at McMahon Stadium, a 1-0 victory. Game winner scored by Janaea Robertson, who is starting today for Calgary. And so far, the only member of the Wild to score against the Roses. It has been clean sheets in the last 3. Now in the midfield. Ellie has played it to the middle, now out to Sauvé. Sauvé patient, but Stordy keeping stride.
It's once again well done by Stordy, forcing Sauvé to go inside and not have an option to break forward.
You never quite know what to expect in matches like this with so much on the line, especially for Calgary. So intensity and perhaps the unexpected Masatoyu saying about his opponent today, they expect that Calgary will take risks, and what that looks like is of course to be seen. Storty now, still working in the Calgary half. A gorgeous day in Laval, sunshine, 18 degrees Celsius at kickoff, a very light wind out of the east.
Montreal is also known for that very precise press that they provide against their opponents. You see there, they're patient, they wait for it to get to a point where they are triggered, and then they all go. There's always numbers. Very hard team to break down defensively, and I know you mentioned that before, Daniela, but that ball movement from Calgary is going to have to be quick. There's going to have to be pace. There's going to have to be a lot of movement off the ball if they're going to try to break down a very organized structure that Montreal puts out defensively.
Just a smart play there by Sauvé. Keep it in the middle third, and now Storty with the throw in. Over to her opponent. Calgary gets it back, looking to regain possession here. White plays it up, has Thurton, but covered easily by Sauvé. Sauvé has started every match for Montreal, and consistency has truly been their strength when it comes to defense as well. Just what this player can bring. Storty to Meggie Doherty Howard, who we've really yet to see with a touch so far in this match. And across, dangerous. Quick work by Cherim. Cherim now. Crowd applauding the effort, just knowing how close that was, Jess.
Yeah, and those crosses have been something that Calgary has found success in and with throughout this season so far, Daniela. That and set pieces have been their bread and butter, so they have to be able to capitalize on those opportunities. They've been struggling to really execute in the final third as of late, but that was a great cross in the box. They need to have the numbers there. They need to have the grit to put their body through it, and then that precision to be able to actually find the back of the net.
Set pieces have certainly helped the Wild at times, or at least just develop some chances. They do have the most in the league when it comes to shots from set pieces, just shots at 22, but it's, as you said, the execution. Doherty Howard watches it, but header by Sauvé. Gets it quick to Paquin. Now Thurton. Calgary in their deep purple kit. Getting to work. Jess, you flag Thurton as one to watch. Need an effort there. Storty into the box, immediately cleared. Already in the 12th minute of the match, still 0-0. And Jess, is this the type of tempo perhaps that you were expecting early on here?
I mean, I think right now we're seeing a lot of balls being forced. It has been quite high tempo so far, so absolutely, I think it always takes a little bit for teams to settle, especially when there is so much on the line. So I'd love to see either side really settle the ball and make this game their own. I think we're starting to see that a little bit with Montreal and how they are possessing the ball amongst the back line as well as moving forward in their midfield, trying to find those options. Right now, Calgary is looking for more of that direct play, it looks like, versus really trying to build up. You're seeing them try to spring Thurton quite a bit in behind, and you know, they like her chances to be able to go against Sauvé or whoever is on that flank against her.
The Roses have certainly had a couple more opportunities to threaten early on in this match. It's off Doherty Howard and thrown in quick for the Roses. Boychuk. Pass disrupted there, a touch by Catherine Harvey. Has been a big bright spot for the Wild joining the club midway through the season. In fact, she scored their most recent goal, scored by a member of their club. That was back on August 16th, and that's just to paint a picture of the tough stretch it's been for Calgary lately.
Yeah, I think Harvey's a player that has a lot of capabilities. I do think that she's capable of more than what we've seen. I think that she's made a difference, but I think there's a lot more impact that can be made from her. I also think that's the case with a lot of Calgary's forwards. They haven't really been performing. Obviously, there's no goals being scored. So as much as you can look at the overall team, there's also something to say about the forwards and their execution as of late. So I expect more from Harvey. I think that this is a game that she's going to have to sort of grow into and make her own, pick those moments, whether that's her just getting into the box and being a physical presence, or she's starting out the play, coming off the front and laying that ball off for Doherty Howard or whoever is playing that ball in behind to Thurton and the wingers. But her movement off the ball is going to have to be key. She's going to have to get into the box and be that physical presence, as I mentioned. So I'm excited to see what she brings, but she's definitely a player that's capable of more than what we've seen.
Absolutely, from Coquitlam, BC. And if anyone knows anything about Coquitlam, it's also a lacrosse hotbed, so no surprise Harvey also played elite level lacrosse. And another running game, Jess.
It's quite a flex to be great at multiple sports.
Absolutely.
To play at an elite level.
Doherty Howard has the pass in, now Storty. Quick coverage by the Roses. Now Paquin as well.
And that's something you always expect from Allie Hess. She's a player that's always moving on both sides of the ball. She wants the ball at her feet. She doesn't get it. She's into that next space. But defensively, she is always there to disrupt play.
Savitsky with a good 1v1, but Montreal sends it back.
Bit of a shove there on Boychuk's back.
Crowd calling for a call. Thurton still back to work here. Robertson had a touch. A header off Boychuk. She tries to get ahead of White. Now an opportunity, Storty.
I also
disrupts that.
Sorry, Danielle. I just want to point out as well, you're seeing that ball get delivered into the box. The runs in the box also have to have purpose. It's not a matter of just being in that spot. You saw Harvey sort of hanging out in behind the Montreal defense, not really making that front post run. Somebody has to make that front post run, even if it's just a distraction run. It pulls defenders out. It causes confusion in the box. So the runs have to have purpose from Calgary if they're going to want to be able to capitalize and find that open man.
Calgary is tied with Halifax in this league for the fewest goals from inside the box at 11. See if they can turn the page today. Change the script. They're looking to be the underdogs with some bite. Harvey loses track of the ball, and Chloe Minas plays it ahead beautifully. Cherim just can't jump ahead of O'Neill.
Well done by Minas.
Good win there. Minas gets it back. Setting up for Montreal here on the attack. Now Paquin, patient, inside the box. Storty wins this battle. Allie Hess picks it up once more. Possession game strong here for the Roses. Hill. Saran looks for the pass. Robertson, Hill right back at it.
We mentioned Hill before the game and the physicality that she brings there. It's a bit of a tactical foul. She knows she's not able to recover, and she ends up getting clipped, ends up clipping Savitsky, or sorry, not Savitsky, Robertson. But she did drive forward, didn't make the right decision, and then had that mentality to get back and really break up the play.
Thurton for the Wild. Coming in, Paquin takes the pass away. Savitsky into the box, headed out. Maggie Doherty Howard with just a Great little touch there. Gets ahead of Cherim. Booted out once more.
And Chloe Minas is as well a player that came into the mix late for Montreal, but she's shown her capabilities and her IQ. She's very crafty. She finds those half spaces very well, and she's always moving, always checking her shoulder. She has that ability to go forward and, you know, pull something out of her back pocket, some really nice trickster type move. But she also has the capability to strike the ball from distance, and defensively she does the work that's necessary.
23 years old from Montreal, Quebec is Chloe Minas. This is Storty for the throw in here for Calgary, but it is so impressive. Minas is just her 4th match in the NSL, got her first start last match. Able to just almost blend seamlessly at a time that's so crucial for this club. They've locked that playoff spot in. Finishing first, a great advantage, of course, because first plays 4th. Second and third will be a battle, but the parity in this league has been on display when it comes to who can win a match on any given day. Another look at Minas. You're talking about her pro experience in Europe. Played in Sweden's top division as well. Thurton certainly very active here. In the 20th minute, a 0-0 score so far. Who will open things up? Some physical play as expected.
Yeah, there's not much in that. You can see Jordy Howard with the hand motion of flop. There's not much in that. Minas did go down quite easily.
In real time, it just looks so
it's an art.
stark,
to sell it, it is an art, absolutely.
Jordy Howard leading her team in assists with 3 and shots on target with 13 and just shots overall at 30. So truly one to watch out on the pitch. The crowd cheering on the Roses once again in the attacking third. Great drum beat inside Stade Boreal. Hill keeps it away from Harvey. Capadona stay in the midfield here. A great crowd for this first of a doubleheader in the NSL. Vancouver visiting Halifax. That match will start right after this one. Whitaker. And the ball rolls past the end line.
That final pass not coming together for Montreal as of yet. But one thing I love about Montreal's play is their movement off the front. You see Monyard, Boychuk, Cherim, Paquin. They all very much have a fluid movement amongst that top line. They do well to come off the front and occupy that space in behind Calgary's midfield and just in front of their back line, and it causes a lot of issues. We've seen a few times that diagonal run with that ball down the flank has caused some dangerous chances for Montreal so far in this first half.
You're watching the NSL on CBC Gem, presented by BMO, the official bank of the Northern Super League. Hill just jumping up in the air for that one. Great description by Rosatoyu. She's a fighter. You can see that in every element of her play, just fighting for the ball, fighting for that moment. Boychuk goes down.
just mentioned how active they are off the front, and that shows it as well. Boychuk dropping into her own half to be able to get that ball back to goal, always looking to lay the ball off or spin if possible. And you have Monyard staying higher up, breaking the line, and they switch very frequently, and it makes them very dangerous.
Sauvé just being looked at, or Paquin rather. Keep an eye on that situation. Meanwhile, Montreal in their own half. Anna Karpenko with her 16th start of the season has picked up 7 wins, 5 losses, 3 draws for the club. So 24 of their 35 points on the table. Of course, that workload shared with Gabrielle Lambert. Karpenko plays it out to Hess.
One thing about Karpenko is she plays as that sweeper keeper, and that's something that Rosatoyu really loves about her game, and the fact that he feels that they have an extra player back there and takes that as an advantage.
Another look here. The trainers assessing Noemi Paquin, who of course we were talking about heading into this match. Here's a look at that contact.
Ooh, it looks like that ball might have,
yeah,
it looks like the ball might have caused her ankle to twist a little bit.
Oh, that's tough. So Paquin out on the sideline right now. Storty for Calgary. Thurton puts it up for number 2. Cross into the box, headed out by Hill. Nearly sent right back by Robertson, but away they go. So Calgary, Jess, has had some opportunities, but none too threatening so far. So we'll have an early substitution here. Charlotte Bilbo goes in for Noemi Paquin. A little tough because Bilbo was not a starter today. Rosatoyu saying she's feeling a bit under the weather, not necessarily overly so, but they figured it wouldn't hurt to give her some rest. Of course, she come in when called upon, and there she is, number 18 for Montreal. Thurton, though, running up the sideline. Holds on here. It's an easy read there by Sauvé.
You mentioned, Daniela, Calgary is creating some opportunities. It's the simple things right now that are really letting them down. It's that the decision making, it's the ability to really execute that final pass that really isn't coming together for them. If they are getting the ball into the box and executing that, the runs just aren't there. There's no willingness to get into the box, so it has to be better. It's the little things, but we are seeing them try to go for that direct play, specifically to Thurton.
Doherty Howard with the corner. She delivers, it goes well across though, out the other side. The Wild, now a throw in on the other side of the field. So they've had some opportunities for potential set pieces.
There's also something in knowing what you're going to do with the ball before it comes back to you, and you saw there, Books, she gets that ball played back to her. She has no idea what she's going to do with it next, and she ends up killing the play and the ball, and it's very difficult to fake out an opponent when the ball is dead and it's stopped at your feet. There's not much you can do.
Referee for today's match, Marie-Soleil Baudouin. FIFA referee since 2014. It's her 13th NSL match, including the inaugural. So it's been a great season for her, and the assistant referees, Victoria Lafortune and Megan Opatro. Fourth official is Ali Martin. A beautiful fall Saturday in Laval. Couldn't have asked for better. Second last home match of the regular season here. In comes Montreal. That effort thwarted. Good step ahead there for Storty.
Yeah, you see there, Cheram wasn't sure if she was offside. Storty's calling for it, that she is offside. It's a little difficult to tell from that angle if she actually ended up staying on the right side of that. But there was no call, so I imagine she was, in fact, onside.
Throw in deep here in Calgary territory. The Roses looking for some space here. Hess gets it through the legs of Thurton. Keeps it across and up. It's booted right back out. Now Munyard getting to work. Crowd applauding that call now.
Seeing just Kaylee Books come through the back of Cheram a little bit there. This is a dangerous opportunity for Montreal, and we've seen the types of players that they have over the ball. They're all capable of striking this on frame or putting a good delivery into the box for very hungry runners.
Discussion there by Sauvé and Boychuk. Of course, Bukovic having some words with her Calgary teammate in the 30th minute. Montreal looking to open the score with this one. Sauvé, and it's just high.
Looks like there might have been some contact in the box as well there. You saw Steph Hill on it, but you see here Sauvé doesn't quite follow through with her action. She sort of stops it, and that causes the ball to go over top of the frame, not really well struck. She also leans back a little bit, so she needs to follow through with that ball and lean over top of it to keep it down. But you definitely don't want Sauvé striking the ball from there. That Calgary has to be smarter in where they are causing these fouls. Physicality is great, but there has to be that recognition of when it's a danger zone and when to let off a little bit.
Wild fans breathing a sigh of relief, although for how long? Bukovic having to stay ready there. Allie Green. Some air under the ball, but Hill takes it away. Shots on target right now, 1 for Montreal, none for Calgary, with just 1 shot as it is registered. 4 shots so far for the Roses in this 31st minute.
The other thing, Daniela, is we're seeing Calgary attempt to get this ball, an aerial ball, into Harvey or Thurton or whoever is up there. And when you're up against a player like Hill, who has stature that Hill has, it's going to be very difficult to beat her in a physical battle. So those strikers have to have the recognition of coming off the front and creating a little bit of space for yourself to be able to spin, to lay the ball off, but also the ball being played into them. It cannot just be a continuous aerial battle. They will never win it. They're about half the size of Hill, and she is somebody that not only has that stature, but she also has that heart, as we spoke about, and that physicality to her game that makes her very difficult to beat.
In the midfield once more, Montreal. Very quick passes. Cheram, who's taken that physical contact. Hill with a great pass up. Bukovic. The far side. As Sonia. Out of the touch, and a throw in now for the Roses. Capadona to Hill.
Nice touch by Stephanie Hill.
Grace Storty gets there first, so over to Bukovic and back out. Easy header for Hill. There's the crowd loving it, of course. The NSL has such great fans. I had to stay paused for a second there, Jess. What was gonna happen? Here's that drum beat that's being supplied throughout the match so far. The energy is always so fantastic. Everyone dialed in, and some matches where that drum doesn't stop at all. Trying to will the Roses here to get ahead, nearly completes that. Bilbao, an early substitution for Paquin. If you're just joining us, Noemi Paquin, the rookie who's been doing so well. Just assessing a potential lower body injury. O'Neill to Thurton. She looks to get ahead. Up now for Harvey, but out of position.
There has to be better recognition there from Harvey. You see her pulling out wide to attempt to hold her run, but you have to be able to look across the line and recognize that you are a little bit ahead of Montreal's defense, and that was well done by both the center backs to recognize that and step just a little bit. But being able to hold your run and not being too eager is something that's key as a number 9 if you're going to want to create dangerous opportunities by breaking that line. Another thing, Daniela, is the last time these two teams met, Calgary was struggling defensively between their lines, within their lines. The spaces were way too big. They had some good moments, but overall that was a big weakness. And today we're not seeing that. We're seeing their heart. We're seeing them try to stay connected between their lines. They're a lot tighter. They're breaking up Montreal's play and disrupting it. That final pass not quite coming together for Montreal as of yet, but they've done well so far to keep this scoreline 0-0.
Absolutely, and of course playing for the 3rd time in Laval. That 5-0 victory. And Storty from distance, my goodness, over the top. Looked innocent enough, Jess.
This is what it's all about. You're seeing, I believe that's Green who's able to win that ball back, and she tries to strike from distance. We've seen her score a screamer from distance, so we know she has that range. But that's what Calgary needs to do. They need to be able to try to capitalize on what's given to them. If they're not able to capitalize on what they've been creating, capitalize on those mistakes. They're bound to happen.
Bound to happen. Karpenko sends it out. Doherty Howard was just hovering around the goal area there, but I mean, Allie Green, what more can we say? From Sydney, Australia has been so great for this Wild squad, and when she was out injured for several matches, they really missed her presence on the pitch. Monyard. Over now to Hess.
Allie Hess continuing to really boss around this midfield and make it her own. She's a player that, she's been such a bright spot for them on both sides of the ball, but you can just see her leadership and her quality in the IQ that she has, and how she always finds a way to be involved in the play, whether it's her movement off the ball or when she actually has the ball physically at her feet.
Hill able to cut off the path for Thurton. Hess once more. 1 yard. Looking in. Keeps the ball. Out now, Hess once more. The time to communicate. Gets around Storty. Bilbao into the box. Calgary looks to clear.
It's well done by Minas.
My goodness, yes, that 1v1. Of course, when you just play your way, it will go your way.
Seen a bit of that frustration come out of Thurton as well. But Minas does well here to disrupt this, win the ball back. And a nice little turn there And that's where you see that shirt pull from Thurton, just some frustration that Minas is able to recollect that ball and for Montreal.
Does set up a set play here for the Roses. They've had a few so far in this match here in the 38th minute. So looking for the first goal, Sauvé floats it in. Bukovic in control. And a quick moment here to send congratulations to the Canadian women's national rugby team, earning silver in the Rugby World Cup final. Certainly represented this country with great pride.
Without a doubt.
Captured the attention of a nation in what is such a well-deserved effort for them. And of course, defeating New Zealand for the first time, and pretty remarkable. Back to the soccer here in the NSL, a big day. Of course, playoff implications abound. Calgary has to win this one. There's a draw and a loss do nothing in terms of trying to keep a very slim path to the postseason alive, but any chance is a chance as it is. But the Roses, they were threatening.
Just looks like Monyard's not able to hold her run and ends up being offside there. It's well up by Capadona.
Here come the Wild now. No shots on target so far. Doherty Howard from distance. Karpenko just settles it down right in front of her.
There's not enough behind that to really challenge Karpenko. You do love the bravery, though, and you know that Doherty Howard has it in her. We've seen her score some free kick goals, as well as in the run of play with her ability to strike a ball from distance. But there's just not enough in that one to really test Karpenko and cause any problems.
And she's had 3 starts against Calgary, so very familiar with this team. 2 wins, 1 loss. Lambert was in net for the other match to round it out. One thing that of note for Karpenko, apparently very superstitious. She does the right sock, shin guard, cleat, and the same, you know, and then does the other side, and as a whole routine to it. Hey, whatever works, works. She's been able to help her team to 7 wins.
Hey, I was that person that had a specific kind of sports bra that I needed to wear. I had to be sure it was washed every single game day.
Okay, I almost didn't say this, but in my notes it does say Karpenko. Same sports bra every match.
Yeah, it's a thing. It's a... Us athletes are superstitious.
I did not go digging for this information. It was provided. I just want to put that out there. The Roses, meanwhile, whatever works, right? If you're superstitious and it works, makes you feel good. Grace Storty now holding solid position there to keep Sauvé at bay.
See the disbelief.
Although does not like this, yeah. Very animated. You can always tell how Storty's feeling.
Well, when the player wears their heart on their sleeve, you expect it, right? You know that she's going to have that sort of attitude. You see the physicality there, but she does well to shield this ball out.
It's a corner for the Roses. Can they capitalize this time? Be delivered here by Chloe Minas. Got some tall bodies inside the box as it is. Delivered in and grabbed. A beautiful grab there by Bukovic.
It's very well done by Bukovic. Nicely timed, comes out confident, strong hands. Doesn't give Montreal the ability to get on that at all.
Talk about playing for the badge right now. And when I say that it's really been all Bukovic, it absolutely has. This is her 20th start. Her 13th straight, just to give you some perspective. So no days off. And I understand when you're the starter, you know, that could very well be the expectation, but for some of these other teams, they've been able to balance it out. Another look at this big save.
Yeah, very well done by her. She comes up strong hands, especially when you have players of the stature that Montreal does. They definitely have some height on Calgary overall, so very confident from her to come out and hold that.
Puts the ball into the Montreal half, but the Roses solid with their clearances as it is. That collision likely felt on both sides there, Thurton and Hill. We do have our first booking of the match.
Yeah, you see Thurton just come through Stephanie Hill. No intent there to get the ball.
So play will resume. As to Sauvé, that is Thurton's second yellow card of the season. First yellow card of the match, of course, for either side. Expected physicality, we know that it feels like even for the teams, of course, that have clinched playoff spots, Jess, we've seen that intensity absolutely ramp up.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think, you know, there's as much as they've already clinched that playoff spot, they're still playing for which spot they will finish in. So there's always something on the line. There's always more to prove, you know, whether you've clinched first place or you haven't, which obviously no one has clinched first place as of yet. Everyone's chasing that. But there's always something to play for, Daniela.
Whitaker takes it up inside the box. Doherty Howard gets it out of harm's way. And back once more. Allie Green already had a shot at distance earlier. Takes it inside. Across Doherty Howard. Kept out. Calgary, another chance, another save. They find the back of the net. Calgary opens up the scoring in Laval. And what an effort is that, as Anna Karpenko doing all she can to keep it out.
This starts off by some great recognition by Doherty Howard, who finds Green, and Green recognized and had that patience for her runners to come into the box. Put just so much commotion here. Doherty Howard continuing to follow up and places that home. You see Karpenko doing everything she can. 2 big stops, but not enough to shut Doherty Howard out.
Maggie Doherty Howard with her 3rd goal of the season. First time Calgary has scored on Montreal since their very first meeting all the way back in May. You could just tell she needed this one. Doherty Howard last scored in a 2-1 win against Vancouver. That was back on July 12th at home. So to get one on the road in a must-win scenario. We are, by the way, in extra time here as we've just reached the halfway mark as it was. There might not be too much time left here. We'll see how the Roses, or whether they can respond before heading into the locker room.
That's quite a way to finish out the half. We've seen so far in this half Calgary struggling to connect that final pass, a little bit wasteful in how they're playing direct, but it comes off that time. Great recognition by Doherty Howard to switch the point of attack, and then numbers getting forward and providing the amount of grit that's needed to put one away.
So the Wild lead 1-0 over Montreal at halftime. Maggie Doherty Howard delivering that. Coming up next, the NSL Halftime Show. Don't go anywhere. halftime at Stade Boreal. Canadian women, they've been dominating in sports. Now for more on the rise of Jade Riviere, let's send it over to Andy Petrillo.
Jade Rose as well. Obviously went to the wrong Manchester team, but we'll give it to her.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Just Soccer. Andy Petrillo here, and I am joined by defender for Manchester United, yes, and of course the Canadian women's national team, Jade Riviere. It's so great to have you here. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Fantastic. Also excited because most recently, and I have to say congratulations are in order, being named to the PFA Women's Super League Team of the Year. What was your reaction when you were recognized by your peers and getting voted onto this team?
Yeah, it was a shocker actually for me. The PFA is such a prestigious event, especially in England, of course. So, you always watch the little red carpet clips that they have, and you see all the big names walk on the pitch. So it was awesome to actually just get to experience that and kind of just like take that in as a professional athlete, but also like the award in itself, being named to the Team of the Year. That was honestly like such an honor and a privilege, especially because I felt like it held the most highest value being voted by the peers that you literally play against. And for me, like, even though a lot of them are, on the opposing side, it's awesome to know that after a game, I left an impression. So from someone who is Canadian, from somebody who has just started to get their feet going in the league, like that's something that I'm really honored to kind of have.
Do you feel like you carry that Canadian torch as well? Because it is difficult. Canadians, when you go overseas,
Mhm.
oftentimes it's a little bit more of a, I mean, it's always a battle. You're a professional athlete and you're trying to get into
Yeah.
that squad and starting 11. But sometimes as the Canadians, you kind of feel like you're a bit on the outside, but you're in and then you get recognized for it. Do you feel like a little bit more of carrying that torch for that Maple Leaf?
Yeah, I think, as Canadians, as the men's national team and women's national team, we're very used to being those underdogs, whether it's on the world's greatest stages or just in our everyday clubs. I think, being a part of one of the best leagues, if not the best league in the world for women's football and for football in general, there's very few Canadians that are in that league. It's been blessed with Canadians coming in and out of that league. So we've had a lot of, I guess, Canadian footsteps within. But to be a Canadian that's recognized amongst a heavily English populated environment, I think that that's something that is definitely honorable. And I love to see Liv Smith there as well and see a fellow Canadian alongside me. So I think we were both really proud to be able to kind of represent Canada that day.
Well, you've already mentioned her, and that is Olivia Smith. And we know at the time she had set a record transfer fee, and obviously she's recognized as well for young player. And I guess this kind of goes along that theme of Canadians in Europe and making headway. And like, do you feel now it carries a little bit more prestige? And maybe it's because of what you've been able to do on the national scene, obviously being Olympic champions, always being perennial contenders. On the men's side too, they've qualified for the World Cup. Do you feel like there is any kind of change now when it's like Canadians are maybe coveted more so than they were in the past?
Yeah, I think so. I think it definitely puts a lot more respect on Canadians' names. And I think, in the women's game, you see it, in the men's game, you see it. Like, there's always big transfers or rumors about big transfers or people breaking records. And I think that it's like becoming more of a common thing, being able to see Canadians kind of be the pivot or at least on the top of people's radars now. I think all it does really is it puts Canada on the map, but it also, inspires a generation of those young girls and boys that look up to us to be able to see that, Canadians can make it outside of Canada.
I mean, as you know, it's the inaugural year of the Northern Super League. And I'm wondering if you have a soft spot for any of the teams. I'm just curious.
Yeah, I mean, I was actually very fortunate to be able to go to a game. I went to see AFC play, so
Mm.
that was awesome. I would say, because they're a Toronto team, I obviously would have to root for them because that's home for me. Um, But no, it's been an amazing watch. It's been amazing to see how quickly the league has progressed, might I say, and the just competition development that has grown into it, the investment that's been put behind it. And honestly, it's just great to be able to say that Canada has its own league now. I think, in the next 3-5 years, it's going to be something great. And hopefully maybe one day I'll be able to go back to the league and be able to play in my own backyard, and have my parents be able to come and actually watch me from a 30-minute drive instead of a 9-hour flight.
Jade, this has been a ton of fun. Wishing you the best of luck the rest of the season, and appreciate you joining Just Soccer.
Thank you so much for having me.
Great chat there with Jade Riviere. And check this out, the next generation of roses. That is the theme for today's match, showcasing the rising stars of the sport. Just my heart. I love it. But also look at that tenacity and intensity. They're learning from these pro players. There's a little mini 3-on-3 matches taking place. Oh, yeah. We got the celebration cartwheels as well. And guess what? Calgary celebrating late in the first half. Talk about extra time, making it count.
Yeah, this was a great finish by Calgary. It initially started with Doherty Howard's recognition to find Green on that far side, but Green recognizing that she needed to hold up play a little bit, pulled out some moves, and then found Doherty Howard when she cut that ball back. But you see that grit and that fight to follow up the ball from both Harvey and Doherty Howard. Karpenko putting up a good fight, 2 big saves, but wasn't able to keep it out in the end.
And that was the only shot on target for Calgary in the first half. Meanwhile, Montreal, they looked so good, but the final touches they just really weren't there.
Yeah, and this is a team that we know has great build-up. They faced this issue in a few matches so far this year. But you see here, Whitaker gets forward, plays that ball through, but it is into nobody. It's over hit. They just weren't on the same page as far as that final action, that final decision. And when they were, the precision of the pass or in the decision just wasn't quite there. So they have to continue to create those opportunities and go forward, but they have to find a way to execute and be more precise in the final third. It's not a matter of creating if that final pass is not coming together. So you're seeing there again just a wasted ball. So it has to be cleaner for Montreal in the final third.
Absolutely, a team that is looking to get going. See the shots on target. Apologies, it was Montreal that only had the 1 shot on target. Calgary did have some chances, of course, so they were able to capitalize on that 4th and final shot on target there late in the first half. Possession, though, has all been Montreal, but you got to make it count, as we have talked about. When we return, second half action as Montreal will look to get ahead of Calgary here at home.
Okay, listen up. Right now, half of us girls drop out of sports by age 17. We need to step up our game. Miss Sung, let's work on getting us better court times. Mr. Morris, remember, more sponsors means more girls on the field. And Coach Weber, Dad. Thanks for making a space where girls feel heard.
The more we listen to girls, the more they stay in the game. Get girl coached at keepgirlsplaying.ca.
Welcome back to the NSL Halftime Show, presented by BMO, the official bank of the Northern Super League. And of course, it's been all playoff. That's been the focus, because if Calgary pulls off a win there, they keep their hopes of staying in the race alive. And last night, though, it already started getting into focus as it was the final battle of Ontario. Also, the top 2 teams in the league. Jess, and you were on that call.
Yeah, this was a matchup that you're expecting a lot of intensity and craftiness from both sides. Toronto was the better team on the night. They were very solid defensively, and you had players like Kaylee Hunter as well as Esther Okoronkwo coming up big for them. Not only their ability as individuals and what they provide, two very different players. Kaylee Hunter with her ability to break lines and get in behind and cause threats with her pace and her ability with her feet, but Okoronkwo's ability to come off the front. And you see here this goal, they actually Okoronkwo ends up playing Hunter through, and Hunter with a very confident finish just passes it by Dagenet. But this duo is one to watch, and they've been so fun to see them grow and the connection that they have. They don't even have to look up. They know the other one is there. So a really great performance by Toronto overall.
Well, final battle of Ontario in the regular season. We'll see if they might meet later on, but that win, of course, bringing Toronto oh so close to locking up first place. In fact, they'll do so if Montreal loses today. If Montreal does not earn a point, they will officially clinch first. Meanwhile, the Roses, there's still another half to go. If they can pull away with a victory, well, they're able to keep in the chase, and they can also get there as well with just a point. But this match, the next one, coming right up, 2 p.m. Eastern in Halifax. This is big because if Calgary pulls through with the win, they stay alive, but they need the Halifax Tides then to take down the Vancouver Rise in their 5th and final meeting with the Tides. They're still looking for their first win against Vancouver and their first win since July 12th. So we'll see how that plays out. When we come back, Stade Boreal is popping as we get set for the second half.
Of Diana Mathis. In the words of Diana Matheson, it was just a concept or idea on a napkin, but 2 years ago it didn't even have teams.
Looking for the strike. Oh!
Now that's a finish. Northern Super League. It will transcend the sport, the Northern Super League, for years to come.
Welcome back to Stade Boreal. I'm Daniela Ponticelli alongside former Canadian Youth International Jess Lisi. The crowd ready to go. They want to cheer on their Roses to a victory right now, trailing Calgary Wild FC by 1. That's their first goal conceded since August 30th. That's 29 days, Jess, and really shows as well the defensive effort of Calgary, a team that lost to Montreal 5-0 not that long ago, September 13th.
Yeah, the last time they played, they struggled on both sides of the ball, but defensively they were poor, and they had those gaps and those spacings in between their lines, within their lines. At the top of the 18, they weren't close enough to really shut down a threat. So I want to give them their flowers for that first half. You saw them wear their heart on their sleeve. They stayed true to their structure. They were a lot more connected, whereas in the final third, obviously they were able to finish one off, Daniela. They had 4 shots on goal, as you mentioned, but they weren't threatening enough. You were seeing a lot of wasteful balls, a lot of direct play just being forced into nobody, or decisions to play an aerial ball into a player like Thurton or Harvey in against a player like Stephanie Hill. So there has to be better decision making. They have to be cleaner in that final third to create more threatening opportunities. But now they're coming off of that momentum. So I'm curious to see how the second half goes, how Montreal reacts, as well as the heat that we're going to see from the Calgary Wild.
And a second half substitution here. We see number 4, Dorian Bochum, drawing in, and that means Catherine Harvey is subbed out, and Harvey was in on that swarm around the net, of course, with Maggie Doherty Howard. Second half. Getting ready, the home side in their red and blue kit. Look at the bench here, of course. It's a warm one, Saturday in Laval.
No complaints.
No complaints, of course. This is what you want. You know it's only going to get colder from here.
Yep.
And these are teams, especially Calgary, or Montreal, they already know they're going to the postseason. They want to be playing all the way to November 15th, if they can. That's when the final is set at BMO Field.
At that point, they won't care about the weather.
No,
all about the
not.
game ahead.
Just want to keep playing.
Seeing Doherty Howard continue to be a leader and communicate before kickoff.
The referee's having some words here with Bochum.
I'm thinking it's the fact that, the whites of her socks, they're supposed to be the same color as the purple there. Some referees let it go, others do not.
Okay, so that's the holdup here. She actually debuted, by the way, and had her first NSL start in Montreal. That was a 2-0 loss back on July 26th. Okay, bring out the tape. That'll do. We will get the second half started.
Luckily, they had some purple tape on hand. I guess you would expect that, but.
Really not what you want when you're about to come in is the second half substitution here. See it on the screen once more.
Some officials are stricter than others.
So Montreal had the bulk of the possession in the first half, around 66%, but only one shot on target. Calgary with 4 shots on target, making it count at the very end, but it really was complete swarming of the goal area. Karpenko making 2, possibly even 3. It just all happened in quick succession saves. We have a booking early here in the second. We had a booking late in the first. Once again. So a yellow card for Bochum. Definitely not the type of start you want here in the second half.
Zoomed in at those socks.
Yeah, the tape job not quite covering all the whites of the sock there. Don't need any more distractions right now. The Wild, of course, getting that late goal, so you have a breather in the locker room. And Jess, what would you imagine that conversation being? About you're in the locker room, you've just scored this goal.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're going to be hyped up about it. We spoke about them being the underdog in this, so you got to use it for motivation. You want to just keep driving forward and try to replicate that in the second half.
Monyard doing all the work herself. Just over the top once more, so a couple of those for Montreal as well in this match.
Monyard is a player that Rosatoyo has mentioned time and time again, has the ability to strike from distance, and we've seen her do it in the second half of the season, not so much in the first half, but that's something that we're looking to unlock from her. You want to see her do it because she has the capability. Again, leaning back in that exact opportunity, but she's somebody you want to have the confidence to go forward, take that strike when it's on.
She earned her first NSL goal and assist in that 5-0 win over Calgary, so might also be something, just something about playing this Wild squad. Bilbo, who didn't start the match, came in as an early substitution for Noémie Paquin, in case you're just joining us, wondering where the rookie is. Of course, Rosatoyo saying great things about Paquin, not wanting her to sit back, wanting her to step up, and hopefully whatever issue she was having with her lower body gets resolved shortly. They'll certainly miss her. Doherty Howard, the great pass through, had Bochum. Jackie Savitsky finding some space in the midfield here.
Seeing Doherty Howard there looking for that switch ball once again, just not able to execute it that time to find Thurton.
Obviously, more goals will lead to a little bit of extra insurance, but Montreal has never conceded more than 1 goal when they've had a victory or a draw. So if you're a Wild fan, if you're able to get a second goal, it's certainly the trend would be that you would just have that little extra breathing room. You never know, still plenty of soccer left. Gordie Howard. Through to Backham. From distance this time.
It's once again that offside that's really getting into the heads of these forwards so far in this matchup, needing to recognize that line and when to stay on it and when to hold your run just a little bit. But that switch ball seemingly causing problems for Montreal. Gordie Howard has the ability to hit it. That's where the goal, that's what the goal came off of, and you're seeing it's still on as an option to be able to find a player like Allie Green with some time and space in and around a dangerous area.
What we do know for sure is that Montreal's 3-match clean sheet streak is now done. They've had 8 total on the season, tied with Ottawa for the most. It's been so impressive, but as with any streak, it's got to come to an end at some point.
Well, they've also been such a resilient team throughout the entirety of this season, Daniela. They're, I believe, the only team that hasn't dropped out of the top 4 since the beginning of the season. That's something that Coach Russell Toyu actually mentioned to us that he is proud of in the back of his head there. So that just shows that even though they've had a bit of some ups and downs throughout the entirety of this season, they've still managed to be consistent and resilient to stay within the top 4 teams of the league.
Well, and their largest margin of defeat has just been 2 goals. So they're not a team, of course, we talked about it, they don't allow a lot against them, whereas Calgary, like a number of other teams in this league, have felt the highs and the lows, and have a 5-0 game being their toughest one yet, and that was against Montreal. But the stats are just numbers. It is all about what plays out truly in the moment. And here comes Montreal! The quick stop is Bukovic. But Sauvé just dancing it into the box, or at least along the edge.
That was a great play by Sauvé. It starts with some good footwork from her. I believe she might have even megged here. Let's take another look at it. Yep, she megged Sarita Thurton, and she continues to drive forward, confident outside of the foot pass. You see there Cheram playing it back, but Sauvé doing so well to continue to drive forward, but isn't able to create anything dangerous in the end there. She strikes it right at Bukovic, doesn't test her at all. Just needs to play it simply into the corner in that moment, but it looks like she might have overthought it and tried to strike it a little too hard and didn't connect with it well enough.
Spoke with her before the match and talked about what do these last remaining games of the regular season mean, and she said it's all about intensity and momentum, and that's exactly what Kaylee Brooks is trying to deliver here.
Once again, Ali Hess coming in clutch for Montreal. Her defensive work continues to be outstanding for them.
Sharon, a little giveaway there, O'Neill, but Bilbo apparently not feeling 100%. Certainly looks like it. Flying in there with all the energy. O'Neill to Books. Cheram, this is a 1v1 here. Cheram made that look easy.
You also just heard a moment ago Russell Toyu mentioning, yelling, together, together. You don't want one player applying pressure and the rest are not.
Oh, Bukovic. Offside.
And just to continue that thought, Daniela, well, we'll look at this first, but this is a great ball over the top, but again, a little too eager on the runs from the Montreal forwards. They end up being offside. Bukovic very brave to come out once again with 2 very good forwards running at her.
Thrown in by Books quick. Looking for Green. Green had a shot from distance earlier in the match.
Good combination play there.
Crowd's energy picking up here.
See Boudreau's movement as well off the ball, finding those channels, finding those gaps, and being an outlet for the back line to help them move forward. It's well done.
Whitaker streaks ahead. O'Neill and Books looking to close in. Sonia out to Green. Temperature has risen slightly here in Laval. Now at 20 degrees Celsius. Started off at 18 for kickoff. Partly cloudy. A very light wind out of the east. Ali Hess finds a way to the middle for Bilbo. But away comes Grace Storty. Robertson. Green's pass now belongs to Cherim. The midfield for Tanya Boychuk. Boychuk, heavy Calgary traffic. Good pass. Boychuk denied in close contact there.
And we saw the last time these teams met, Tanya Boychuk did exactly that. She had time and space. She drove towards the net, no pressure, and struck it home. Bit of a shove there from Boychuk on the back of Thurton as well.
In the 56th minute here, still a 1-0 game for Calgary. How we entered the second half. Boychuk from Edmonton, Alberta. So a little extra rivalry there, I think, with the Calgary, unless she's got good feelings. But all my friends from one of those cities, it's a good rivalry with the other side. Possession once again, Montreal coming into this half around 66, actually just a little over it, still there.
We've seen them dominate on the ball as far as keeping it and trying to create opportunities. That final pass still letting them down the decision of what to do, when to shoot, when to cross. And then when they do make the correct decision, just being able to execute that cross or that pass.
Marie-Soleil Baudouin, referee for the match. Montreal, bulk of possession now looking for the equalizer, and that has never happened in a meeting between these two teams. It has been clean sheets for all 4 previous matches, meaning Calgary came away 1-0 in their very first match back in May, and then it was all Montreal after that. The Roses need to earn a point here to keep their fight for first alive. And that would end the run, end the dream for Calgary. Would also, Vancouver Rise fans, hope you're watching this match as well, because that would also send your team through to the playoffs without needing to stress as much about the next match.
I'm sure they're following along. It's another big opportunity here, set piece, something Calgary has been great at all season long. So we'll see if they can capitalize to be able to get their second goal here.
Doherty Howard in to deliver. Chaos inside the box leads to a good clear and potentially a transition play. Bukovic says no way. Sends it right back. Now the Roses running up. Bilbo. The pass in. It's kept out. Cherim was right where she needed to be. Absolutely. Storty coming in clutch here for Calgary.
Yeah, you'll see another look at it here. Bilbao does really well to recognize the early cross into the box. Cherum's there, but Storty wants it more. And you see her put her hands over her head, frustrated. If she had just recognized that Storty was coming from in behind, but that's well done by Storty. Again, showcasing what Storty does best, which is wear her heart on her sleeve, put her body on the line, and do everything she can to keep the ball out of the back of her team's net.
And now we have a set play the other way. And we know that Montreal can be dangerous in transition. The same corner this time, Bilbao. It's headed up and over.
You see Stephanie Hill making good contact with that, but just isn't able to keep it down.
Roses. Still on the attack, Minas. Oh, Doherty Howard able to position herself. Check that, it's Bochum.
Yeah, you see here, big touch by Hess. And then Bochum does everything to take care of Hess without actually going for the ball first. So you see her there, she braces for the impact with Hess, sends her flying.
Jorian Bochum, of course, being booked for a yellow card earlier in the second half here, and the fouls, Calgary doubled up on Montreal right now, 10-5. Which is not surprising if you followed the Wild in any stretch. They are a physical team. That is part of their identity.
It was also
for better
or
for worse.
It was also a part of their game plan, right?
Yes.
They said that they wanted to come into this. You heard Sonia in the pregame interview. They wanted to come into this and match Montreal's physicality, if not surpass it. So that's something that they've found success in being physical and being that team that brings a lot of fight. That's where they've found success. That's where they've played some of their best games. So that is the mentality that they bring into the game. So it's not too shocking to see that they have 10 fouls so far on the day. And you'll see another look at it here again, that Bochum just coming through Hess. Looks like Hess might have landed on her shoulder. But thankfully, I do believe she is up and okay.
She's on the sideline right now. We'll keep an eye on that. Right now, the Roses. Headed out by Calgary, and Maggie Doherty Howard sends it well up into the stands. So what do you make of the set piece plays so far here for Montreal? Never mind, they're getting right back.
Yeah, I didn't want to jump in there yet, but
yeah, they're like, we don't need set plays. Let's make it happen now. That's what Calgary was able to do. Ines sets it up, and Bukovic will just stop that momentum that felt like it was the buildup was starting to get there.
to answer your question, Daniela, about their set pieces, I think for the most part they have not taken advantage of them. They've been slightly wasteful, and they're a team that has proven to be very good on set pieces. And you know, you saw Stephanie Hill almost connect with that, but when they are towards frame, they're going over top of the bar. They're just not clean enough in the final third.
Quick little give and go there. Now Thurton bring up the right side. With the box, it's off the heel there of Whitaker. Now Cherem in with speed. One v one with Books. Substitution here for the Roses. Jody Smith coming in for Claire Mignard. And Jess Munyard has felt like she's been oh so close to getting that goal.
Yeah, she was able to net her first ever goal, actually, the last time these teams met on September 13th, as you mentioned. Daniela was a great finish at that, but she's somebody that's been very good for them in this second half of the season, very active off the front, a big physical presence. We're seeing her a little bit more confident in and around the 18, striking from distance. So she's definitely been showing her growth in the second half of the season, been a bit of a bright spot, especially as you mentioned, they're filling that gap of Abdu and trying to piece things together in the attack. So she's definitely stepped up for them.
Looking for the equalizer. Cherim.
It's a great ball.
Great ball ahead for Sauvé.
The offsides.
They've been hurting everybody.
The timing of runs is so crucial, the recognition of when to hold it. You see there just a bit of eagerness from this angle. It's kind of hard to even tell that she is offside, but she's slightly eager to get forward, doesn't time it quite well enough to be able to get that, but Cherim's delivery on that was fantastic.
Offsides 4-2 for Montreal. And they've had some good threats otherwise. Now Hess floats it in! Bukovic with a save, my goodness! Got her hands on it.
I believe that was Sauvé again. Ali Hess does really well here. Patient, plays a nice little slip ball through, and yeah, Sauvé's driving forward. We spoke about, you know, the fact that these Montreal these fullbacks, they love to get forward, they love to get involved in the play, but Bukovic coming up big for them, denying Sauvé once again.
This does give Montreal a corner. Maybe, Jess, they heard what you had to say about their set play. Great delivery. Just felt like a small nudge out there for Calgary. Very crowded penalty area. We will see 2 substitutions when the time comes. Not quite yet. Both these teams are coming off some solid days rest here. So Calgary, the team that must win, the team in the lead right now, making some changes. So Sarita Thurton will sub out with Christy Gray. Meanwhile, Allie Green will exchange with Callie Johnson. Johnson, of course, was off to such a roaring start with this club, 3 goals. She was their goals leader. Now, of course, Doherty Howard is tied with her after the late goal in this match. She only played 8 minutes last week.
You're seeing the immediate impact here with her physicality.
She had Bockham.
I also mentioned before the game, Daniela, that, you know, the flank play is going to be huge, so having some fresh legs out there, but you're just seeing here, she stiff arms Whitaker and finds Bockham, but Bockham turns and strikes that far off frame. But those wide areas are still going to be huge. You saw in the first half that goal came off of that switch of play. You know that Whitaker and Sauvé, we've seen them so active in the attack. Oftentimes in those transitional moments, it is on, and you're able to exploit Montreal going down the flank. So they have to make the decision quicker when they're in transition and look up and recognize that they can play it forward to their strikers.
Johnson from Sydney, Australia. Also, to me, an extra threat here. She plays with both feet, comfortable. Gets a touch right away.
Just a bit of a push there on the back of Dubois.
If you're just tuning in, you're watching the NSL on CBC Gem, presented by BMO, the official bank of the Northern Super League. The Roses looking for the equalizer. Scooped up easily. Whitaker ahead of Johnson. Ever since you mentioned Ali Hess's control, Jess, I keep thinking it does just feel like everyone else is in her office right now.
Yeah, you see it, you see her movement. She's always playing a part, whether she's on the ball or not. She's directing people. Defensively, she gets involved. She breaks up play very well. Offensively, she finds the ball, she finds the spaces. She makes the runs. Everything you'd want in a midfielder.
Montreal once more with those final touches, Jess.
It's that final decision as well. You know, you can see that there isn't much space to work with there. That ball's overhit. It just has to be better from them. Decision making, the execution, all of that.
Especially if they want to head to the NSL finals, which, by the way, coming up November 15th at BMO Field. Scan the QR code right now on your screen to get your tickets or visit nsl.ca/finals. Jordy Howard, who has the lone goal so far in this match. He's looking up for Johnson. Johnson, very, very comfortable with the stiff arm.
The physicality has always been a part of Callie Johnson's game.
It's absolutely tough for the Wild and their fans when Johnson went down with an injury, and it's kind of lingered there when you think that her last start was all the way back in May. Well from distance.
You're seeing again the execution just not quite there. Cheram recognizes the run. Minas, I believe, is the one that sent that ball over top. She sees the run, but isn't able to execute the pass. It's overhit. Cheram has no chance to be able to get that and create anything out of it.
Of course, Cheram had such a big match the last time against Calgary when they were at Stade Boreal, a brace in that 2-0 win. That's right, had the game winner, had all the goals. Can she do it again here at home? They need at least 2 for a victory. Through ball, now the Roses getting to work.
Calgary continued to do very well to break up that play before the Roses have a final action.
Bockham able to shift Hill off the ball. She's asking for it, knowing that there's a tug on her jersey.
Yeah, you see there definitely is that tug there. You see the referee play a bit at an advantage. The Bockham is gone, but Stephanie Hill grabbing at her. And then finally does end up winning that battle. But Bockham does have a case for the shirt pull earlier.
Bockham came to Wild FC from the DC Power. Now a chance here, in close, and it's, wow! That was as good a look as any for the Roses, and Cheram no less, just talking about her ability to score against this club in Laval.
This is typically a spot that a player like Cheram is finishing that, and she does well to go far side. She had Bukovic beat, but isn't able to keep that on goal in between the posts. This is a game, Daniela, that Montreal is going to go back and beat themselves up about if they are not able to get one on the board. They've had multiple opportunities to finish and find the back of the net, but haven't been able to make it come together.
Again, AFC Toronto fans are watching this, rooting for Calgary, because Montreal can't earn a point in this match. They know for sure they cannot reach Toronto, the top of the table, clinch first place. Of course, you always want to earn it, but they have been earning it with all the wins that they've been able to put together, AFC Toronto. Meanwhile, Vancouver fans are rallying here for a draw or a Calgary defeat, although they can also win their way into the postseason with at least a draw in the very next match. It is a lot to ask here. Calgary would have to win out the season, and Vancouver has to hold steady at 32 points. A set play quickly denied there. Looked like Bochum even got a piece of it. So Julia Lease coming in here for Stephanie Hill. Meanwhile, Haley Whitaker done for the day, and Mathilde Lachance subbing in. And just another substitution here is Chloe Minas, who's had an incredible effort. Talked about her so much. Felicia Roy drawing in. Okay, so 3 players with fresh legs here. Can they be the difference maker? There's time certainly in this match. I have to think Rasatoyu and the Montreal management looking at this, trying to adjust. Or perhaps this was their plan all along. They're a team that has clinched that postseason spot. You want to use all your players. You want to be smart about what you're going to do with your remaining matches here. So Montreal has no substitutions remaining. We're in the 76th minute. Still a 1-0 lead for Calgary established.
You're seeing once again that offside come into the picture. It's the little things, Daniela, that keep letting Montreal down. It's, you know, that offside is the difference between having a dangerous opportunity created and not, and having it go back down your throat the other way. So they have to be able to recognize these things if they want to be able to get one before the end of this match.
The Montreal home crowd sort of matching the kit colors. You see the pink, blue in the stands. Trying to rally on this club. As we see Michaela Moore coming in, and it's got to be a great sight here for Wild fans, as Moore did not play in the last match and had limited minutes prior to that. Actually didn't play as well in that 5-0 loss to Montreal. Kaylee Books tagging out, as I like to say, and Micah Rolfsma also subbing in.
Calgary putting in some defensive reinforcements.
Actually more coming in, of course, for Sonia O'Neill. So O'Neill done for her time here in Laval. Fresh legs on both sides. Of course, Michaela Moore, such a force for this Wild team. Calgary gets to work quick. Johnson, some great footwork, creating space where there was none. Rolfsma out to Bochum. Calgary, just feel the confidence here. Set it right off the top. Nothing to lose, everything to gain when you're already counted out.
Seeing that physical battle there between Lees and Bochum.
Lachance plays it to Karpenko. Savitsky at the center line. Just look at the shots this half. Montreal's had the bulk of it, but 3 on target, none on target for Calgary.
And as we mentioned, Montreal still, for the most part, is dominating this game. It's not for a lack of chances, it's just for a lack of execution right now that the scoreline is staying the way it has been.
Possession has been 66% for Montreal. Here they are. Can't hold it. Very dangerous. 20 of their 27 goals scored inside the box. Now Bochum comes up on the back. Bockham finds the back of the net as well. Calgary, second goal of the match.
And I believe that's Bockham's
Yes,
first.
she opens her account in the NSL.
You can see that shove there on the back of Lee's. I mean, Bockham does very well to continue that play on. She cuts across Capadona and then is able to find the back of the net, but she definitely does shove Lee's down with a forearm to the back.
Just like that, talked about no shots on target for Calgary this half, and she delivers first NSL goal for Jorian Bockham in just her 10th match in the league. Debuted at this very field back on July 26th. It was a 2-0 loss. Right now, it's a 2-0 lead for Calgary.
It's a frustrating one for Montreal for sure. Again, we've spoken about how many opportunities they've had and they haven't finished. And sometimes, you know, you can argue that was a foul, and I would agree in that instance, but at the same time, the official didn't think it was, and now you're down 2 goals. So that's why you have to be able to capitalize on the opportunities that you're creating, especially when you are dominating for the most part.
Calgary also dominating with those fouls, 14-6. Montreal has not conceded more than 2 goals in a single match, ever. But they also have not conceded more than 1 when they were able to draw or close out with the win. So this is very much a chance for Calgary fans to at least ease just a little. Of course, the Roses can be dangerous. We haven't had so far too many stoppages here in the second half, so I can't imagine there might be a lot of added time. So you are looking at the clock there, Jess, and about 10 minutes roughly to go.
Yeah, you absolutely don't need, you know, that's plenty of time. But at the same time, with the way that Montreal's been struggling to find and connect in the final third, it's not looking too likely as of right now, but it takes one to just, you know, change the way the game goes and find that momentum. And you'd be surprised sometimes scoring that first goal, everything starts to click afterwards. So I think we still got a bit of time to see how this game ends, but Calgary is putting out a very good defensive performance. They're frustrating Montreal. They're breaking up and disrupting their build-up, even if it's at that final moment.
Well, after no goals scored in 46 days, going all the way back to August 16th. I should say no goals scored by a member of their own club. They did have an opponent's own goal. Calgary able to hit the score sheet here. And what is a sizable lead over a club like the Roses, with coming into today just 16 goals conceded on the season. Bockham with a great tackle.
It's well done by Bockham. Nicely timed slide tackle.
And I think she had a bit of an interesting start to the second half when she was subbed in for Catherine Harvey. Needed to adjust the socks, got a yellow card, and hey, got herself a goal as well. You have to consider too that Calgary was able to capitalize after 3 big substitutions, I would say, for Calgary, in which, you know, Stephanie Hill was substituted off. She's been such a consistent threat and disruptor. Now the Roses, Bukovic. That was Tanya Boychuk.
She strikes that right into Bukovic. I thought she was going to be able to get under it and just chip her, as she was a little bit off of her line. But that heart from Tanya Boychuk, it continues.
And now Sauvé, who's had chances, gets stopped. Of course, that's not the type of strike she was hoping to deliver. Bukovic, though, you talk about who would be the MVP of this match.
Yeah, I think Bukovic's had some great saves. I But on the other side of it, it has to be much better from Sauvé. There's no reason that you shouldn't be finishing that, or at least creating something a lot more threatening. You have to be able to connect with the ball in that moment. That's not the first opportunity that she wasn't able to finish in this match, so it has to be better from her.
Lachance, fresh legs, just came into the match. Rolfsma. The big pass up, it's offside. Calgary, confident. Now defending.
See Boychuk looking for an option.
Great clear by Micah Rolfsma. In the 85th minute, 2-0 for Calgary, goals in each half. Opened up with Maggie Doherty-Howard, who right now holds the game winner unless Montreal can find a way.
It's well done by Calgary once again to not give up a corner kick there. Boychuk working right to the end line, but I believe it was Savitsky that put her body on the line there and ended up hitting it off of Boychuk to actually win that goal kick.
Ali Hess. Trying to do it all on her own and having some words with her teammates. It's not for lack of effort on Ali Hess's part.
Ali Hess has had a great performance today. She's somebody that's been active on both sides of the ball. She's been everywhere on the pitch, trying to help her team get a result here.
Julia Lease will throw into Anna Karpenko. Capadona.
We're seeing Calgary just sit back comfortably.
Well, they had to do their part in order to keep the path to the postseason open, and that was winning this one outright, no draw. They needed the 3 points in the standings. Another booking here, it'll be the third yellow card of the match. Mathilde Lachance picking that one up. And that is her first yellow card on the season. Now Julia Lease. Trying to create some space there.
Calgary doing a good job here at forcing Montreal to play in their own half and having no options to go forward, but instead have to continuously go back to Karpenko or to Lees, which automatically eliminates any sort of threat.
The far side now Montreal.
Jody Smith unable to keep that in play.
The Roses will head on the road next, and then they're back for their final home match of the regular season. The only thing that changes for the Roses if they are defeated in this match is that first place it'll be taken. It'll be officially claimed by AFC Toronto. But they could certainly work up to second place and finish ahead of Ottawa or potentially Vancouver. They're still in the mix there.
It's a frustrating matchup so far for the Roses, especially with knowing what was on the line, right? You want to be able to clinch that first place spot. And the fact that they dominated this matchup as far as possession, as far as being more purposeful and creating dangerous opportunities, but they just haven't been able to bring it together to be able to finish their chances, and some of which should have been guaranteed goals. You know, you're inside the 6-yard box, passing it by Bukovic should be a simple task, but instead they're playing it straight into her arms, not testing her at all. So it needed to be better from them throughout the entirety of this match in that final third. And you can see, I mean, I don't want to take away credit from Calgary as well. They've been solid defensively. They've put that fight out. They said that they, from the beginning, were going to bring the heart, bring the fight and the intensity, and that's exactly what they did.
And Ali Hess to get into the box. Tanya Boychuk just outside of it. Final minutes here. It was just 3 matches ago where Montreal was unable to score. It was a 0-0 draw against Ottawa earlier this month, September 7th. This will be their first loss since August 30th. Although still plenty of time here to score and potentially balance things out, as there'll be at least a minimum of 5 minutes added to extra time here in the second half. It's a stunning fall colors in the backdrop in Laval at Stade Boreal.
See Bukovic trying to waste a little bit of time. Shave off all the seconds possible.
This is the final road game as well for Calgary, as they'll play their next 3 remaining matches in the regular season at home. It's funny, they're not necessarily fans of the slimmer pitch here, but it's been advantageous for them today. McMahon Stadium in Calgary, of course, a much wider field. Hess trying to get ahead of it. Bilbao. You just feel the frustration.
Ali Hess has been doing everything she possibly can.
Holfsma to Johnson. Out to Robertson. Robertson before this match was the only Wild player to score. Johnson. Bockham. Minute 45 into this added time. Crowd in Laval has not let up with the energy.
It's well done.
Yeah, just a great tap. Keep the ball ahead. Boychuk. And from distance, well wide.
Seeing again, Daniela just seems to be a repetitive thing in this matchup, specifically in the second half, wasting those opportunities to create something dangerous. Boychuk was forced to sort of hold up play there and wasn't able to continue to drive forward because she didn't have numbers around her. Ali Hess doing everything to get her that ball, a nice little cheeky back heel. But then ultimately that final action from Jody Smith to get the ball in the box finds nobody. It's overhit, doesn't hit the runners.
Already 3 minutes in to extra time. Montreal head coach Robert Rassatoyu saying confidence and humility, and they will certainly have a lot to learn from this match going into the rest. They know they have more matches beyond the regular season.
One thing we knew for certain too, Daniela, is we were not going to get a repeat of a 5-0 win. Last time, Montreal was fantastic in all 4 phases of the match, but it wasn't a great performance by Calgary.
Cherem is down, but there's the whistle there.
So another look at it here, just a shove from Rolfsema, and then she actually ends up kicking that ball into the back of Cherem.
Rolfsema versus Karpenko. Get the grab, and in that time there was a yellow card assessed to Charlotte Bilbao of Montreal. Tanya Boychuk just running out of room.
Out of room, but also the ball that she's being fed. There's not much that she can do with it. It has to be better from Smith. She's playing in behind her. She just ultimately runs out of space.
That's full time, and the Calgary Wild stay alive. The visitors snapping a 5-match losing skid spanning 43 days to stay now on the path to the postseason. 2-0 over Montreal. It was Maggie Doherty-Howard with the game winner in the 45th minute. This also means AFC Toronto has clinched first place in the Northern Super League, becoming the first ever club to win the NSL regular season.
Yeah, you know, it was a very scrappy performance by Calgary, and in the end, they were the team that was able to put the ball in the back of the net. You see with their first goal, Doherty-Howard starts the play, and there's a great delivery into the box, but just that scrappiness to get that ball into the back of the net. Karpenko does everything she possibly can, but it just isn't enough in the end to stop Doherty-Howard from putting that ball into the back of the net. And this one here, there's a little bit of controversy around it. There is a shove there, but Bockham does well to take that touch across Capadona and places this into that far left corner to beat Karpenko. Is there a call there? Potentially, but the official didn't believe so, and they were able to walk away with a second goal.
And it's the Wild's 5th clean sheet of the season, all 5 for goalkeeper Stephanie Bukovic. That means all 5 meetings as well between these clubs, including Calgary's win before this, have been clean sheets. That's a look at it. Possession was all Montreal. So the race for first place is out, but the Roses can still catch second and move ahead in the standings. Meanwhile, of course, Calgary talked about it. They have to win. They have to get those 3 points in order to stay alive. But their fate is tied with Vancouver. Vancouver now playing in Halifax, where the match is set to begin and get underway. All they need is a point to punch that 4th and final ticket to the postseason. So for all Calgary has done, we could have some more answers by the end of today. That match happening on CBC. So a 2-0 final for Calgary. NSL Soccer is presented by BMO, the official bank of the Northern Super League. For Jessica Lisi, our entire crew, and the Northern Super League, I'm Daniela Ponticelli. What a game for the Wild. 2-0 over Montreal from Stade Boreal. Until next time, thank you for watching.